Today we'll be considering the listening and speaking aspects of English language, and the topic is revision on vowels, to be specific, pure vowels, short and long vowel identification. So you are going to look at how we can easily identify short vowels and long vowels. The English language has 12 pure vowels, and these will be discussed in today's lesson. The first one is the E. This is produced when the letters I, E is found in the middle of two consonant sounds, or when the letter Y ends a word. Now, with the two consonant sounds being talked about, sometimes it also considers how they are produced, because they influence the realization of these vowel sounds. So let's look at the first example. Examples: pretty, pretty. So you realize that we actually identify this sound twice. That is the first part, pre-e, n-t-e. So that is the transcription you are likely to get when you look into your dictionary. And we have other examples as well, which you can check out when you have time to. But that is the basic thing. And although this is the explanation given, it doesn't mean it applies 100% of the time. But most of the words that you are likely to identify this particular sound in is seen in this environment. So that is it for the first one. And it's a short vowel. So now we move on to the long vowel. This vowel is usually produced when two vowel sounds like E, A, or EE, or EI follow each other in a word. It is important to note that there are other letter combinations that come together to produce the sound E. So examples: meat, meat. So that is the long vowel there, and it is formed because the vowel letters E and A come together, and it stresses it. So when you are producing it, you produce it with extra force to place some kind of stress on it. And we have other examples of these two: seat, meal, feel, etc. So move on to the third one, A. A. This is usually produced when the letter A is used in the middle of two consonant sounds. Examples: cat, cat. And we have other examples too. And usually you realize that it's the T and the D and the S, N. All these consonants can be identified or associated to an extent with the way in which they are produced, and one way or the other they influence how this particular letter A, vowel A, is realized in words. But this is the basic way to identify them, especially for students at the lower level or students being introduced to the concept of vowel sounds or vowel sounds identification in words. So we move on to the third one, the E, which sometimes is transcribed as E, as put in the bracket. That is when pronouncing it. It's a short vowel. It is produced when the letter E is used in between two consonant sounds. So we have example: pen. So you realize that when it is being pronounced, it comes out as E. So pen. And in other dictionaries or online sources, you are likely to see the one in the bracket, that is the A, when it is transcribed. So other examples include 10, well, set, edge, bird, lend, gem, men, fetch. And all these, you realize that you hear the S sound in it. So that is it for the fourth one. Now we move on to the fifth one. It is produced when the letter A is followed by the letter R or I. So this is a long vowel because it has the colon. Now, the difference between the short and the long vowel is that the short vowel has the long, is stressed, and it usually has a colon when it is transcribed in the dictionary to communicate to you that it is meant to be stressed. So let's look at example. Dark, dark. We have other examples to display it for you, and you can look them up in the dictionary. So we move on to the sixth one. It is produced when the letter O is found in between two consonant sounds. So boss, you hear the O, boss, O sound. So the sixth sound is the O sound, boss. Now other examples include court, rob, boss, dot, top, soft, topic, motto, novel. All these you hear the O sound in it, either the initial or the final syllable. So the seventh one is the longer version of the sixth one. So O meaning all. It is a long vowel that is formed when the letter A or O is followed by letters R, L, or U. And I have talked about this while discussing the introduction to oral English, that R, when found with a vowel, is likely to cause it to be what? To be stressed or pronounced for a longer period of time. So we have example, cord, cord. So you can hear the stress in the O sound, cord. And we have other examples which include court, ball, tall, and others. We move to the eighth one, and it's the U sound. It is a short vowel. It is produced when the letter U is followed by L, or when the letter O is used twice and is followed by the letters K or D. It is important to note that there are other letters that come together to produce the sound U. But in today's discussion, we will be focusing on these combinations. And I keep saying it, that this is usually, or this is for those who are now being introduced to the concept of what? Sounds, especially at the lower levels, or people even at the tertiary or senior high school level that want to have the basic understanding. So this is just an introductory part. It doesn't mean it is a automatic standard and final one. There are a lot of things that are considered before categorizing or realizing these vowel sounds in words. So example, pool. So we have other example here for you to appreciate. So we have the long version, oo, oo. So you. And the brackets, the one in the bracket is how it is realized if you want to pronounce it. So U-U-H, oo. So you. And we have other example, music, music, rude, food, who, group, chew. We move to the 10th one. An example is bus. So bus, bus. And then we have other examples include come, but, turn, lunch, but. So you realize that there is that rise in the sound So bus, come, but, turn, lunch, but. And that is the vowel sound that is being used or being realized in the pronunciation of these words. So we move on to the 11th one. As used in word, bird, beard, turn, burn. So we have the 12th one, about, about. Other examples include mother, furniture, famous, visa. Now, you realize that for the ones we discussed earlier, we considered some of the letter combination that's actually come together, or the environment in which make sure that or necessitates this production of these vowel sounds or realizations. So when you come across a word, you take a close look at the letters that it moves with and how it is realized. That is when you are using your dictionary. and sometimes, or most of the time, it is applicable to other words too. So you take your time, you go through it whenever you come across a word, or you can try to look for the meaning or the transcription of the words that have been associated or used as examples for the various vowel sounds that has been discussed. So we come to the conclusion. We look at 12